So I posted a video about how black people should stop calling themselves African American, and the comments went crazy. But the one thing I kept saying over and over was people saying, but everything comes from Africa. Let's actually talk about that, because that all sounds real kumbaya on the surface. But the second you follow it all the way through, it falls apart. So no matter what side you're on, stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you will blow your mind. Let's use a little uncommon common sense. If everything comes from Africa, then even white people are African, right? I mean, if we're tracing all of humanity back to the continent of Africa, then every single person on this earth could be called African. Your white neighbor, African. The current president of France, African. The people who now live in Rome, African. The people who built the pyramids, they were actually African. But you see the problem? Nobody's walking around calling white Europeans Africans just because early humans migrated out of Africa 100,000 years ago. So why does that argument only show up when we, foundational Black Americans, say that we belong here in America instead of over in Africa? Let me be fair. Maybe people don't mean it literally for everybody. Maybe they just mean black people came from Africa, so that's their real home. Let's follow that logic all the way. So a person is born in Nairobi, grew up in Nairobi, their parents are from Nairobi, the whole family built a life there, they speak Swahili, and now they moved to Atlanta, Georgia. Are they American now? Do they get to claim America? Or does their identity have to be earned through generations of history, culture, community, and contribution? You see, identity is not about where humanity started. It's about genetics and lineage. It's about where your people went and what they built when they got there. Europeans ended up in Europe and adapted there. And after thousands of years, we call them Europeans, not African. Even though, by your logic, their ancestors came from Africa too. Some Africans stayed on the continent. They built civilizations there, empires, cultures, and kingdoms, and we called them Africans. That makes sense. Others left and populated the world. Now, foundational Black Americans, even after everything we've endured, stayed here in America. We built here, invented here, cleared the lands for national parks. We fought in every war for this country and created art, music, food, style, and language that have become the backbone of what America is today. For even more evidence, America as a country is 250 years old, and chattel slavery went on for 246 years in this country. And if slavery was abolished in 1865, that's at least an extra 160 years that indigenous Black Americans were here building this country before it was even called America. So what do we call people who came to a place and built it from the ground up? We usually put an N at the end of the country name. Africa, African. America, American. We are Americans, foundational Black Americans. But this next part is really what got to me as I was thinking about this. But before I tell you, if you like what you're learning, go ahead and like the video and follow if you want to see more posts like this. Because people in my comments are telling us we're not American. Meanwhile, there are white people right now in South Africa, born and raised there, 1 or 2 generations from a family that permanently relocated there. And they call themselves Africans. Nobody argues with them. Nobody shows up in their comments with a history lesson about migration. Nobody says, but your great-grandparents came from Amsterdam. They're just African because that's where their parents settled and built their home. Why does that logic work for them, but not for us? Why can white South Africans claim Africa through 1 or 2 generations of building there? But we, foundational Black Americans, can't claim America after the generations of literal lineage, blood, sweat, and sacrifice we put into the soil. Because his story is not necessarily accurate. Most foundational Black Americans were indigenous free men before chattel slavery, and others became freed men after slavery ended. That's part of what makes us foundational Black Americans, not African. Drop a comment and tell me, do you think identity is about where humanity began or about what your people actually built over generations?